We're here at the 2025 Money in the Bank PLE. We're kicking things off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match between LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, Penta, Seth Freakin Rollins, and El Grande Americano, who was supposed to be wrestling in this match but was injured in his match at Worlds Collide. Let's get some replay, some highlights of his match against El Hijo del Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship. This was an insanely brutal match between El Hijo del Vikingo and Chad Gable at Worlds Collide, where Chad Gable would be injured after this match. And it's kind of crazy that Chad Gable being injured and El Grande Americano is also injured at the same time, which is kind of weird. So is El Grande Americano Chad Gable? Because we're getting a lot of clues. We'll forget about that later. But let's see who's going to replace El Grande Americano in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it's none other than Karrion Kross, who gets the loudest pop of the night, possibly. And here we go. The Money in the Bank ladder match has been kicked off. Andrade has Solo Sikoa on the apron, dropping with a big back body drop, landing partially on the ladder and mostly on the hardest part of the ring of the apron. And the springboard, oh my god, what a maneuver from Andrade to Solo Sikoa on the outside of the ring. LA Knight goes to the top turnbuckle. Penta tries to get him off, but it's Andrade that springboards and takes out Penta on the outside of the ring. Seth Rollins grabs the ladder, but Andrade would slide kick him, and then springboard from the ring to Seth Freakin Rollins splash. And he has Penta inside of the ring, ready to go, possibly a Spanish fly. Andrade is crazy. This guy's fired up. That's something's crazy. So Sikoa has LA Knight for spinning solo onto a ladder on the outside of the ring. And at one point in the match, Andrade has a diving senton to LA Knight through the ladder. And then what a maneuver to Karrion Kross. Andrade is fired up. And this Money in the Bank ladder match with somebody else is fired up is none other than Penta Cero Miedo, as he takes out Andrade for Mexican Destroyer on the outside of the ring, and then takes him out with a moonsault through the announcer's table, goes into the ring and takes out Solo Sikoa of a Penta driver onto the ladder and looking to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase. But it's Karrion Kross that takes Penta down and takes him for some kind of variation of an exploder suplex, and then will take him to the outside of the ring for a powerbomb through a bridge ladder. Now Karrion Kross trying to grab the Money in the Bank contract, but the ladder is pushed down, and it's by Solo Sikoa, who goes for spine-breaking spear to the back of Karrion Kross as he was hanging to the Money in the Bank contract above the ring. And Solo Sikoa will take out Karrion Kross with a Samoan spike, and Solo Sikoa will then take Karrion Kross and send him to the outside of the ring. So Sikoa grabbing the ladder, now setting it up in the middle of the ring, looking to grab the briefcase. But Seth Rollins meets him up there, preventing him from grabbing the contract. And Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa are now trading blows on the top of the ladder, chop for chop, strike for strike. Who is the better man? Solo Sikoa would ultimately get the better of Seth Rollins with a vicious jab. Solo Sikoa is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's going to do it. And Solo Sikoa going to do it. No, because big Bronson Reed taking Solo off the top of the ladder, sending him into the corner, sending him face first in the middle turnbuckle. Braun Breaker wanted to put pain into Solo Sikoa. They send the ladder to the outside of the ring to put insult to injury into Solo Sikoa with a rib-breaking spear. And then Big Bronson Reed will let a rib-breaking tsunami into Solo Sikoa. Braun Breaker would then send Solo Sikoa to the outside of the ring, grab the ladder and set it up. And Bronson Reed taunting, really, they're allowing Seth Rollins to maybe climb the ladder. They're going to get him up to his feet before that, but it's LA Knight trying to prevent that from happening. He rolls in the ring, but just gets taken out of a sit-out axe driver by Big Bronson Reed. And then Reed would then send him to the outside of the ring with a powerbomb. Braun Breaker now taunting, but it's Andrade that rolls in the ring trying to stop the Vision, but he can't because Breaker would take Andrade out with a rib-breaking spear. Breaker now picking Andrade up and sending him with a power slam to the outside of the ring. And then Braun Breaker would then go to the outside of the ring to taunt, same as Big Bronson, because they're gonna allow the ring to be all to the Visionary, the revolutionary, the architect, the leader of the Vision, the man that stole Roman Reigns, his wise man, and CM Punk's best friend, to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. But no, it's Jeff Cobb, a guy from Solo Sikoa's bloodline, and he takes out Seth Rollins with an electric chair slam, and would then take him to the ropes and take him out for tour of the island. It's the top faction at Friday Night SmackDown versus the top faction of Monday Night Raw, as Jacob Fatu taking Braun Breaker out of a right hand, and then an Impaler DDT on the outside of the ring, spiking the unpredictable badass in Braun Breaker, and his Bronson Reed trying to stop the Samoan werewolf, but he gets taken out as well of an Impaler DDT on the outside of the ring. And they would then take out both Karrion, Kross, and Penta, as Cobb would take out Kross for Tour of the Islands, and then Penta would get taken out by Jacob Fatu of an Impaler DDT. Kross would roll out of the ring, and Fatu would take out Penta of a powerbomb to the outside of the ring. And Jeff Cobb would send a ladder into the ring, where Jacob Fatu grabbed that ladder and set it up for Solo Sikoa to go ahead and grab that briefcase. And while Solo Sikoa was trying to unhook the briefcase, Jacob Fatu takes out Jeff Cobb with an Impaler DDT. He would then go up to the top of the ladder to take out Solo Sikoa rock bottom from the top of the ladder. Jacob Fatu betrays the bloodline, and the crowd love it. Everybody all around the ring are knocked out. It's chaos all around the ring, body everywhere. But there's one man that's all alone inside the ring to grab the briefcase, the Visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank, and as he is Mr. Money in the Bank, his wife, Becky Lynch, has a match against Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, in which if Lyra wins, Becky does not compete for the Intercontinental Championship as Lyra Valkyria holds it, and if Becky Lynch wins, Lyra Valkyria has to raise her hand, but that's not. And we have a banger of a match with both Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria hanging their best maneuvers to each other's. There has been many near falls in this match. Lyra Valkyria is going to go high risk and get some reward as she takes out Becky Lynch just a little bit, but hurting herself a lot in the process. These two women have been hitting their best maneuvers, and each of them has been kicking out by each of their best maneuvers, and they're trading blows in the ring right as of right now. As Lara Valkyria gets the better of Becky Lynch with a Fisherman's Buster cover to Becky. But Becky kicks out at 2.9 seconds. Lara on the top turnbuckle ready to go for a dropkick into Becky Lynch, but Becky moves and Lara will take out the referee. Becky Lynch now taking advantage of it and now hailing a disarmer into Lara Valkyria, but then she notices the ref is knocked out, so she lets go of the disarmer. She picks up the referee and sends him to the outside of the ring, where Becky will go low to Lara Valkyria with full force into the vagina, as he then picks up Lara Valkyria and takes her out of a manhandle slam, where the referee will count for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Becky Lynch's new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Becky Lynch wants Lara Valkyria to raise her hand up, but that's not gonna happen. Bayley is back, and she's here for revenge at Becky Lynch for what she did to her at WrestleMania, taking her spot at WrestleMania, tagging Lara Valkyria. Bayley now takes her out face first, a different variation of a rose plant, a more devastating version onto Becky Lynch. Bayley's fired up, and then Lara Valkyria rolls into the ring to go face to face with Bayley, cheering her up with her. She taunts with her, and then Bayley takes her out with a rose plant as well, face first. But why? We don't know why. Bayley's furious and taking her out with a stomp. Bayley's adding new moves to her arsenal. This is not the same Bayley that was taken out at WrestleMania. We have a furious Bayley returning to at Money in the Bank. Speaking of Money in the Bank, we have a women's Money in the Bank ladder match with contestants like Julia, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Valkyrie, and Rhea Ripley. This match is insane, as on the outside of the ring, Rhea Ripley takes out Roxanne Perez with a powerbomb, splitting the ladder in half. Ripley will try to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase, but it's Julia who goes up there to stop Rhea Ripley with a kick to the face, and then a vicious forearm to take Rhea Ripley down. Julia's on the top of the ladder. She's going off with a basement dropkick from the top of the ladder to Rhea Ripley. She's going back to the top of the ladder trying to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase. But the ladder gets pushed down by who? We don't know. And it's none other than Stephanie Valkyrie, who lands a vicious tackle from the top turnbuckle to hanging Julia from the top of the ladder. Now Stephanie Valkyrie going for a devil's kiss onto the ladder. And on the outside of the ring, Naomi trying to go for a suplex to Alexa Bliss off the announcer's table, but she would counter and take her down off the announcer's table and then land a double foot stomp into Naomi. And the knees to Naomi as well. And Bliss now has Naomi up on the announcer's table. What is she looking to do? She grabs the ladder. She's ready to drop off the top of the ladder. But Naomi gets off the table and tosses the ladder down. Alexa Bliss lands hard. Then Naomi puts her up on the announcer's table. She's giving her strikes and make sure she stays on that table, does not get up. She drops off the top of the ladder, and she has some of it, but not all of it. Alexa Bliss is wiped out. Right now, her chest is all bloodied up. He's been going through it, and this Money in the Bank ladder match. But in the ring, Stephanie Valkyrie trying to grab the women's Money in the Bank contract. see Roxanne Perez stopping him from doing it. Stephanie Vaquero trying to take her out for swinging neck breaker, but Roxanne Perez counters it and takes Stephanie Vaquero out. Now Roxanne Perez trying to grab the women's Money in the Bank contract. But Stephanie Vaquero, who gets up to stop her, Roxanne Perez takes her out of a swinging neck breaker to the floor. Now Roxanne Perez trying to grab the women's Money in the Bank contract yet again. But this time around, it's Mommy to stop Roxanne Perez. Takes her out face first on the ladder and sends her, driving her to the floor. Oh, Finn Balor stopping Ripley from grabbing the Money in the Bank contract. Ripley then takes Finn Balor out of a riptide. Mommy's furious at Finn Balor trying to stop her from winning the contract and helping out Roxanne Perez take out Rhea Ripley with a pop rocks. Roxanne Perez is gonna do it. She's gonna be women's Money in the Miss Money in the Bank thanks to Finn Balor. But no, the ladder's dingling for some reason. It's because Naomi tosses the ladder down and drives her down for a big powerbomb and then a split-legged moonsault while Roxanne Perez was lying down on a ladder. And Naomi's trying to grab this woman's Money in the Bank contract and become new Miss Money in the Bank. But she can't because Julia tosses the ladder down, but she falls. Naomi drops, and she's the new Miss Money in the Bank. The crowd are on their feet for Naomi's victory and how insane that Money in the Bank ladder match was, and they're on their feet as well for Jey Uso's entrance as he's teaming up with Cody Rhodes to take on John Cena and Logan Paul. This match starts off with both teams hitting some maneuvers as a tag team, building up that tag team chemistry. Logan Paul tags in John Cena. John Cena's taunting. He's so hyped up to beat the hell out of Jey Uso. But Jey Uso recovers, takes John Cena off some elbows to chop, and then starts striking him with some very familiar strikes that Jey Uso always puts out in every single match. Trying to take him in the corner, John Cena counters with an elbow, but Jey Uso now getting the crowd up on their feet, eating to them, and takes him out with a vicious strike. Jey Uso is fired up. He takes him back to Logan Paul's corner to yeet yet again if the crowd wants Cody Rhodes, and they're yeeting with him. They want Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is tagged in. Cody Rhodes can finally get his hands on John Cena ever since WrestleMania. John Cena takes him out with a boot and tags in Logan Paul. Logan Paul gets him for a strike, getting him away, and then buckshot lariat covering the Cody Rhodes. But Rhodes will kick out at 2. Now John Cena is getting tagged, and now John Cena going to beat up Cody Rhodes. And when Cody Rhodes is finally wiped out, John Cena is a coward, ladies and gentlemen. He takes out Rhodes with a vicious five-knuckle shuffle. Then calls him up onto his feet for an attitude adjustment, but no, Jey Uso stops as he launches a spear, and John Cena and Logan Paul goes to the outside and taking Jey Uso off the apron. Face first he goes, and then one lucky punch at Jey Uso. In the ring, Rhodes goes to the cover off a spear Jey Uso hit on John Cena, but John Cena will just kick out at 2.5. This match is so extremely chaotic. Rhodes is ready to go for a crossroads and John Cena, but Cena counters it with a clothesline and then an attitude adjustment and a Cody Rhodes. On the outside of the ring, Logan Paul gets Jey Uso with a boot, decimating him on the outside of the ring. As in the ring, it's a count of 2, but Rhodes will kick out at 2. John Cena then sends Rhodes to the outside of the ring, lacing up his boots, letting Logan Paul do all the work. The Maverick clears off the announcer's table. But Rhodes sends Logan Paul in the steel steps, gets in the ring, then launches a springboard dropkick, takes out the referee and John Cena in the process. Rhodes said he was gonna do whatever it takes. I think he's doing just that because of how much he failed at WrestleMania, but he's not gonna be able to do whatever it takes to defeat John Cena. Because Braun Breaker from out of nowhere takes for himself a spear. Jey Uso trying to get up to his feet, but his steel steps is tossed right into his face, and it's by none other than the Aussie, Big Bronson Reed, as he's clearing off the other announcer's table. Braun Breaker puts Cody Rhodes up on the announcer table, ready to allow Big Bronson Reed, who's on the top with a turnbuckle, launch a massive tsunami through Cody Rhodes through the announcer's table. And they're now going to do the same in the Jey Uso as Bronson Reed lands yet another tsunami, this time to main event Jey Uso. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are taunting for some reason, and this is because this was all a plan. Burn it down! Seth Rollins ready to cash in the briefcase he won earlier, but he can't because it's a returning OTC Roman Reigns, launching him with a spear as he's running down the ramp. And he launches a spear into Big Bronson Reed on the other side of the ring. As Braun Breaker ready to launch a vicious spear going all around the ring, but Reigns meets him with a spear as well. Roman Reigns, the OTC, is back in the ring. John Cena picking up the referee, ready to get Cody Rhodes back in the ring, who was taking off a massive tsunami earlier in the match. Cena takes Rhodes back in the ring, ready to end this match once and for all. Cena going for an attitude adjustment, but Rhodes counters it, and then Rhodes takes him out for Kross. Rhodes. 1, 2, 3. Rhodes pins a WWE champion, and we might have a future WWE championship match between Cody Rhodes and John Cena at the WrestleMania 41 rematch very soon.